Remember, 90% of the advisors you see on either CNBC or Fox News, they pay to be on those shows.
You said something very interesting, and I'm going to bring it up here. You said that advisors feel that rate cuts are coming, and you disagree. So I'm curious, could you expand on that just briefly? Why do advisors feel like a rate cut is coming? Like, what are they looking at that they feel a rate cut is coming? Is it just wishful thinking? What's going on? And why do you disagree?
First of all, I'm not sure if it's just advisors, but I think there's a lot of pundits you'll see on TV
Got it.
that happen to be advisors and they run money. Remember, 90% of the advisors you see on either CNBC or Fox News, they pay to be on those shows. And they pay to be on those shows thinking that they will gather customers and they have to come up with comments and beliefs and ideas. And so that they have a book. In other words, they have a self-interest in saying something that hopefully will resonate with a potential client. However, I feel as I look at most of the people that show up in these shows, I don't feel they have a slightest clue, and beyond that they've been around long enough to recognize how things worked in the 80s. Now, I agree that history doesn't always repeat itself. There's always some kind of change. However, their belief for a cut is because they already have a book, they're underwater, and they know a cut is the thing that will make their portfolios look better. And I will admit, a cut by the Federal Reserve in interest rates will definitely create a market rally, even from these levels. However, what is the reason that we would see it? Historically, no rate cuts occurred for 6 years after Paul Volcker started raising rates. Rates came down on their own by the market, but the Fed didn't do anything for a long time. We are only 15 months into rate hikes, just 15 months. And we still have inflation out there. I think if you were a student of history, and I happen to be, sadly, I was around in the 80s and I watched the way things unfolded. There was no rate cuts, but everybody talked about rate cuts back then too. They just never occurred. So mine is based on experience. And my also thinking is, how do you cut rates and have a negative real growth? In other words, where inflation would be higher than the interest rate that we could get in the bank. So that makes no sense. It should be the other way around. Before, the interest rate we got in the bank when we were at the COVID lows, of course, that was zero. And inflation was almost very close to zero, about 1.25%. We had negative rates at that time. Right now, we have even rates. And we're in a more, believe it or not, normal environment. So I don't feel there's any rate cuts coming at all until they have solid evidence that the inflation will be under control. And I don't think that's going to occur this year. And at the end of the day, I'll just reiterate, I think people talk their books. Our books, I have no book here. I just have the mathematics that we use and the science that we've applied, and all the science doesn't expect any kind of rate cut anytime soon.
Thanks, Kelly. Yeah, I mean, I that really caught my attention when you said that, because it didn't make sense. I mean, I don't profess to be any kind of an expert in this kind of stuff, but it just didn't make sense. Why would they think that? But if they have a vested interest in that happening, that probably would bias their opinion, and that part does make sense. So thank you for clarifying that. Now,